Hi there, this is Tony from pianotone.ca, and this is my preliminary review on the Pianoforall online piano course by Robin Hall. I first heard about this course in the fall of 2021, and I was impressed enough after starting it that I thought I should do a preliminary review. I haven't completed online modules yet, but I'm about a third of the way through, and I've got a pretty good take on how and why this course works so well. So I might end up doing some more videos on some of the later modules later, but let's check it out. So who is this course for? This course is really for anyone who wants to get started on playing the piano, and the course is actually a great fit regardless of your specific interests, whether you're looking at classical and learning how to read sheet music, or learning how to just play modern music with chord charts. Because it is divided into modules, so you can kind of pick and choose and focus on your specific areas of interest. And it has actually got so much material in it, which I'll talk about it a little bit later in the review, that even intermediate piano players are still going to get something out of this course. So Pianoforall has actually been around for quite a while, and I must have been living under a rock because it turns out it's one of the most popular online piano courses that there is. So I'm not sure why it took me so long to finally hear about it. The course is actually really unique, both in its approach to teaching piano, but also in how the course is delivered. So first of all, how is it delivered, the course format? Well, Pianoforall consists of 9 interactive ebooks. So once you make a one-time purchase, and it's a lifetime membership, then you can download all 9 books, and then you can access them with any standard ebook reader app or software. For example, on my iPad or iPhone, the built-in Books app works really, really well. On a PC, there are tons of free and not free software options that you can choose from, but there's lots of free ones out there that you can download as well. Now, the cool thing about this format is that these books are not just text and pictures, but they also have videos and sound clips embedded within the book. So there's overhead videos and sound clips as well as the text and pictures and explaining things as you go. So you don't have to be online to use these, which is neat, and you also don't need to bounce back and forth between different apps and windows and YouTube, etc., like a lot of other courses will get you to do. So for each topic, you can play an overhead video where Robin will explain what he's teaching you in that little section, demonstrates it, etc. And you can minimize and maximize it as well out of the book really easily, and then go back into the book and pick up where you left off. Then you can read about the topic that he just finished explaining, and then you can do whatever exercises he has, and those exercises will typically also have some sound clips that will help you practice along.
Rhythm number 2, straight beat gospel style. So remember the first chord sequence you played: C, A minor, F, G, and then you played the left note right.
Okay, so the approach that Pianoforall takes to teaching piano. I learned how to play piano from some other online courses, Piano in 21 Days and the Piano Man Approach, and those are both fantastic courses that both teach piano using a chord-based approach. And there is zero sheet music or sight reading in either of those courses. And it is true that you do not need to be able to read sheet music to be able to play the piano. Pianoforall actually takes the getting you started playing even a small step further than other chord-based courses do, though, by not even teaching at the outset how and why chords are formed the way that they are. He just shows them to you and says, just do this for now, I'll explain why later. He uses a great example that I can actually relate to from having taken tons of guitar and bass lessons when I was young. If you take beginner guitar lessons, your guitar teacher is not going to tell you, okay, memorize all the notes on the guitar, and then let's get started sight reading, Mary Had a Little Lamb, and practicing some scales. Instead, they're going to tell you, put your fingers here, and this is a C chord. Don't ask why, just do this. And then we'll teach you some strumming basics, which is rhythm, and more on that later. to get you started. And then that gets you actually started playing something that is fun and satisfying. And when that happens, that's what keeps you playing and learning. Now, learning piano with a chord-based approach is definitely the fastest way to get started and works wonderfully for modern music especially. However, if you do want to also be able to play classical music, or even if you just want to have a more complete learning experience and you want to learn on how to read sheet music, this is where Pianoforall's teaching approach is really very well thought out. And it works great, whether you're interested in the classical and sheet music stuff or not. Books 1 to 4 give you a chord-based foundation, basically, that gets you playing and having fun quickly. And then you can build on that foundation with more advanced books before tackling, if you want, the classical and reading sheet music topics. So there's a little diagram here, the Pianoforall process. But basically it's building this foundation using chords and rhythm, and then building on that foundation as you go before you tackle the super hard stuff. So the foundation, books 1 to 4, they do a fantastic job of getting you started playing using a chord-based approach. But there's a couple of extra things that are thrown into this process as well that make a massive difference in your playing, as well as setting you up for later success with reading sheet music if that does interest you. Now the first thing that's super cool that is in this course is Robin teaches you rhythm right from the start. It's one thing to learn how to play chords, which does allow you to get started playing songs quickly, but to have your playing actually sound anything like the song, you also need to learn how to incorporate rhythm patterns into your playing, and that's typically rhythm with your left hand. This is something that differentiates the Piano Man approach from Piano in 21 Days, actually. The Piano Man approach course makes heavy use of left-hand rhythm patterns that immediately make your rendition of a song sound much more accurate and keep all your songs from kind of sounding the same. While playing with rhythm is really challenging, completing the Piano Man approach did elevate my playing to a whole new level. Now, Pianoforall has you learning simple, basic, common left-hand rhythms and walking bass lines right from the start, which gets you used to getting your hands coordinated, doing different things at the same time between your left and your right hand. I actually wish I had included more rhythm in my playing right from the start instead of having to learn it later. So Pianoforall really does a great job of this. And even with all the left-hand rhythms that I learned from the Piano Man approach, I've learned, and I am continuing to learn, quite a few more really awesome rhythms from Pianoforall.
1, 2, and 3, 4, and 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 if you can get that faster, you'll sound quite good.
Now, the other unique approach that Robin takes with Pianoforall is sheet music is included in all of the examples, but there's no actual reading of notes yet. Robin includes sheet music in almost all the examples in the book, but does not expect you to be reading any of those notes. Instead, it is there for you to have a general sense of the shapes, patterns, and the rhythm. He will also include chord symbols, which not only start showing you what a chord looks like in sheet music, but also starts getting you ready to read lead sheets if that interests you. This is a very smart way to get you gradually exposed to sheet music. For example, in the picture on the bottom right, you can glance at and immediately see that you're playing some type of an alternating left-hand rhythm with bass notes. The bass notes are indicated, like the actual note is written out for you. And the chords are written in notation, but also indicated with chord names up at the top, so you don't have to read them. So this actually gives you a basic ability to look at sheet music and kind of understand what is going on without necessarily having to read the notes. And that's a super useful skill and a great way to get a little more comfortable with sheet music before you actually try to tackle sight reading. He also uses the example, as you can see in the picture below, if you take your keyboard or piano, You play a chord in your right hand and a bass note in your left hand, and then you turn your piano sideways and then look at those notes like he's showing in the picture, then that's actually kind of an indication of what's going on in the sheet music. So super cool, really well done. Okay, books 5 to 8. This is the advanced stuff and getting into classical and sheet music. Once you work through the first 4 books, you really do have a great solid foundation to start tackling the harder material in books 5 to 8. And at this stage, I'm still working on the first 4, but I have completed the first 2 and most of the way through the third one. And I'm really looking forward to books 5 to 7 in particular. Ballads, blues, and jazz, those are right up my alley. I may even test out the Tame the Classics book by the time that I get there, just to try and beef up my extremely minimal sight reading skills. Now, book 9, which he calls Speed Learning, I wasn't sure what this book was about until I started looking at it, and this book is fantastic. It is a massive resource of tips and tricks, practice routines, daily workouts, and they're even split up into different genres and things. This book contains a ton of super useful resource material and exercises. Depending on your incoming musical knowledge when you start Pianoforall, this might be a book you could work on at any time during the course. If you're a true beginner, you probably want to leave it till you're at least through the foundations levels, so the first 4 books. I still consider myself a beginner, but I've been playing for a couple of years now, so I actually quickly read through and browsed book 9, looking for helpful tips, tricks, and exercises that are appropriate for me and my level. And I found some great material, in particular blues exercises and workouts, which once again, right up my alley. And it is also good to have a general idea of what this book has while you work through the course, so you can refer to it when appropriate. So even if you are just a beginner, it's a good idea to kind of skim through it first. And there's tons of stuff in this book as well that would be really valuable for intermediate players, even if some of the other more basic stuff in this course is review. So what are the package options? How much does Pianoforall cost? A very simple pricing option, pay once, get lifetime access. And the best part, this course is, in my opinion, extremely good value. It's very inexpensive and it includes a staggering amount of material. At the time of writing this review, the regular price for Pianoforall was only $79 for the entire course. And also at the time of this review, it was actually on sale for $39, which is half price. And that is actually quite often the case. With so much material offered for such a crazy low price, to me it was simply, it was a complete no-brainer to buy this course. Even though I'm still working through some other courses, it's simply silly to pass this up. So Pianoforall, the verdict. I love this course. I love the format, I love the approach, I love the content, and most of all the price. I can highly recommend Pianoforall for pretty much any aspiring, or maybe even a little better than aspiring pianist. If you're a beginner, it's going to be great for you, and even if you've been playing for a little while, or you're an intermediate player and you find that some of the material is just review, you're still going to get great value from this course, especially given the low price. Even an experienced pianist is likely to find some tips, tricks, and exercises, just even in book 9, they're going to be of great value. So this course is definitely well worth the money. So with all that being said, I can highly recommend Pianoforall. If you want to check out the current prices and check out the course further, please click my affiliate link below. And thanks so much, and happy piano playing. Have a good day.